Hi everyone, EnPTinio here, Filipino Environmental Planner. In this video, I'll try something new. Papakita ko yung mukha ko and I will live react to this very viral video of Slater Young's Skypod 3. Why do I choose to react to this? Kasi marami na akong environmental planner experts or environmental experts na nakikita na nagtitweet about this and also nagbibigay ng kanilang insights. I believe I also have the qualifications para magbigay rin ng aking sariling insights. And, I want to really see kung for myself kung ano ba yung sinasabi nilang the rise. So, ito ay isang project na hindi ko pa nakikita ng buo. Kaya hindi rin ako makapag-react, makapagbigay ng sarili kong feedback. So, this is also the first time I will be seeing the whole video. I have yet to also delve into the details and technical details. So, hopefully, sagot ko yung mga questions na gusto kong masagot as I try to see this video.
Today, guys, we are going to finally reveal to you a project that we've been working on for so long. This project is the reason kung bakit nag-pause muna tayo sa YouTube because kailangan to ng maraming brain power and brain cells. Pero guys, seeing it right now with all the renders and this scale model that we'll show you today makes it all worth it. This is the Rise ng Terrazas.
Okay. Kailangan kong i-pause doon kasi doon pa lang sa unang shot na yon, kita na natin who this project is for. Okay. So, kung babalikan natin yon, makikita nyo that ayan, kita nyo kaagad na this is not a socialized housing project. This is not a community project. This is for the rich. This is for the high society. And this is not for the common man. Kaya, yun siguro yung isa nating maging perspective dito. Isa kong magiging perspective dito. That this is something that is not for me, who is a middle class, working professional. This is for them na medyo mataas ang mga kakayanan pagdating sa bahay at possessions.
Okay, so before we actually...
Okay, isang importante din. Bilis ko mag-pause. Isang importante rin na nakita ko doon is itong shot na to. Itong shot na to. Ayan o. You see that it's... I see it as a symbolism that previously it's a natural... it has its natural form. Hindi naman natural yung pagiging terrace niya. Pero, yun. It's symbolism for me na, ayun o, biglang pinalit. Bigla niya pinalit yung kanyang background or yung kanyang landscape into something that is residential. And, yun. Siguro, dito pa lang parang nalulungkot na ako sa mga next na mangyayari.
Okay, so before we actually do a reveal of the project, pag-usapan muna natin yung backstory behind this entire development because it's very interesting, especially because we are building it on the side of the mountain.
Okay.
So,
on the side of the mountain. Sige, that's the key word. And that I think that's also one of the prohibition, ano ba ang tamang term? That's also one of the triggers sa mga environmental experts na nagko-comment dito. It's on the side of a mountain, and I think you have to understand the different the vast array of hazards na makikita mo or mangyayari kapag ginalaw mo yung mountains. So, meron tayong tinatawag sa environmental planning na ridge to reef approach in ecosystem management, at importante makita natin dito sa tatlong main hydromet hazards na ating tinitingnan or yung mga hazards na madalas nating nararanasan, dalawa doon ay dahil sa influence natin sa mga mountains natin, landslides and flooding. So, doon pa lang para kailangan na talaga ng environmental safeguards dito sa project na ito.
So we had like 3 pillars in mind when we were designing this. We wanted to be architecturally forward, something that Cebu or the Philippines has never seen before.
Okay. So, sa Cebu pala to. So, meron ako mga nakitang tweets about the location. Pero, yun nga, I have not yet seen anything or I have not read anything in depth para maging maging true or maging real ang aking reaction dito sa video na ito. So, architecturally forward daw yung kanyang principle. So, tingnan natin what that means.
We wanted it to be not just maganda tingnan, pero very, very usable din and may added benefit to the user.
Okay. So, tingnan natin yung priorities doon So, ang priorities niya is that it's something that the Philippines has not yet
Cebu
seen
or the Philippines has never
before.
seen before. We wanted it to
And
be
also,
not just maganda tingnan.
Kita mo yung unang-una niyang ginamit na description. We want it to be not just aesthetically pleasing. So, nauuna yung aesthetics kesa sa use. So, parang mauna yung it's really face. So, well, hindi ko alam. I don't want to offend any architecture friends or architects. Pero, siguro nga, design is nauuna form versus function nga, sabi nila. So, ewan ko. Tingnan natin mga next na mangyayari.
And lastly, because we're building on a mountainside, we want the project to be as sustainable as possible. And we've had several iterations to get to this point.
Okay. So, we want to be as sustainable as possible. So, before we continue this, kailangan meron tayong paradigm or parameters din sa sustainability, and I think the most common na ginagamit ngayon is that sustainability is where economy, environment, and society or yung social inclusiveness nga intersect. So, well, marami ng paradigms ngayon o marami ng literature na bago, and some that I have read nung nag-aaral ako about sustainable planning processes is that dapat nakapaloob na silang lahat sa environment, na hindi na siya Venn diagram, kundi concentric circles na siya, na yung social, yung economic ay nakapaloob sa social at yung social ay nakapaloob sa environment. And that is because we are in the decade of last action na nga na sinasabi. Hanggang 2030, we need to reach our sustainable development goals and limit our climate, our warming climate or global warming climate to 1.5 degrees Celsius before, in addition to pre-industrial levels. So, those technical technical terms hindi masyadong madaling pag-isipan, pero the fact is, kung sinasabi na ang project ay kailangan as sustainable as possible, kailangan meron kang considerations of environment, economy, and society. So, I hope at the end of this reaction, meron akong maisagot kung how this project addresses those concerns.
This whole thing actually took us maybe around 300 different versions. So, gusto ko lang mag-thank you kay LLG Architects for being really patient with us. So, these were some of our past designs. And if you see right here, it looks like any other project. It doesn't hit those pillars na gusto namin. You can even see na may mga retaining walls dito, meaning the original design carved out the mountains, so not as sustainable. And it looks very congested and traffic just going through the area. Hindi siya bagay to be on a mountainside. It doesn't belong there talaga. So, nag-step back na naman ulit kami, and we kind of got inspired by working with nature. And the biggest inspiration for us was how us Filipinos work with nature in the past. We got inspired by the Banawe, right?
Okay. Isang importanteng point ang gusto kong erase doon, that they want to work with nature. Okay? So, right now, one of the buzzwords in the climate adaptation space is yung tinatawag natin nature-based solutions that not only work with nature or work with nature, but sometimes we work for nature. So, inuuna nga natin yung nature. Kaya nga siya nature-based solutions kasi titingnan natin ano na yung meron dun sa lugar na yun, and we try to reduce our impact to the environment through using those. We try to manage disasters through using the existing natural habitats there. So, for example, storm surge, we try to mitigate the impacts of storm surge through mangrove preservations, preserving existing mangroves, and also reforesting mangroves. And riverine flooding, for example, ay tinutulungan natin yung river para ma-maintain niya yung kanyang natural flow sa pamamagitan ng pag-alis ng mga pag-maintain ng easements na matagal na nating in-identify, and also not relying much on infrastructure na hindi for the natural environment. So, they were inspired daw by the Banawe rice terraces. I am not as informed about the Banawe rice terraces as I want to be. So, nakapunta lang ako sa Banawe rice terraces parang twice pa lang because of Sagada, trips to Sagada. So, tingnan natin kung ano yung inspiration na sinasabi niya.
Terraces. So, instead of a normal building, which is typically straight up and down, we kind of like worked with the terrain. So, we just pushed everything towards the terrain and just followed the flow of the mountain. So, this is the whole concept behind this one, but there's so many details. Pero I think it's time na buksan na natin yung project natin. Ladies and gentlemen, the rice at Monterrey.
Okay. Nakadalawang shots na siya. Puro private cars pa rin ang nakita ko. So, kita mo. Diyan. Dito sa banda dito. Sa taas. And also
rice at Monterrey.
Ayan. Nasa left side, bandang left side, makikita mo yung cars pa din. So, ayun, nasa taas nga din pala, may cars pa din. Cars pa din.
This is what we've been working on for so long, and honestly, to see it in front of me right now brings so much joy.
Okay. So, kita natin dyan sa shot na yan. Sa baba, may cars. Sa loob, may cars. So, sustainability, I think, is not yet. I'm not seeing as much sustainability as I want to. Kasi, in developing property or developing communities, importante na makita natin that we are not just impact or creating structures or buildings, we are also impacting the other aspects of life. So transport, health, and if we promote developments that continue to exclude those who do not have cars, parang it's not really socially inclusive, and also it's not as environmentally sustainable as we can make it to be. So, yun yung isang importanteng makita dito.
To my heart because there was a lot of times where we thought, baka itong project na to, hindi to posible because there were a lot of details that baka itong project na to, hindi to posible because there were a lot of details that we had to think through, to work on, just to make this into what it is today. So for example, kanina pinakita natin na vertical yung structure. But if you come here, imagine if this was our tower sana here, but we pushed everything towards the mountain and just worked with the terrain. So each and every space was pushed towards the back. And with that, we're able to create this free-flowing design. But not only that, this whole structure is now spread out across the mountain, making it a whole lot safer and less yung environmental impact natin. Not only that, by pushing it towards the back, the unit below becomes the outdoor space of the top. Unit below, outdoor space at top. And so on and so forth. So, this makes the entire project feel more like a home because each and every unit, meron na siyang malaking outdoor space.
Okay. So, kita mo yung outdoor space na sinasabi niya. Working with the mountains, sabi niya, they will work with the mountains. So, paano mo, how will you work with the mountains if you have these, if you promote these jacuzzis in the mountains and try to exhaust the resources, the water resources of the mountains. So, hindi na bababa yun sa mga lower terrain or lower areas. And hindi na siya magiging lalo siya makaka-contribute sa water insecurity kasi for sure ida-divert dito yung water flow para lang ma-serve yung bawat isang outdoor space na nagre-require ng bawat isang jacuzzi. So tingnan natin paano niya magagawa yun. And also, well, I give points dun sa gusto niya open concept kasi at least that promotes social cohesion. Although may mga barriers pa rin dito. Of course, for privacy purposes, siguro. Pero, yun nga. I'll give him also points for, although hindi ko makita yung hindi ko maisip pa because, again, I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer. Makita yung technical considerations dun sa sinasabi niya pag-push into the mountains as compared to the vertical. So, siguro, ang isang importanteng consideration dito is landslide. So, kasi kahit na magiging masyadong costly kapag ginamitan mo to ng masyadong malaking infrastructure safeguard to mitigate landslides. And siguro that also increases that also makes me question again the social inclusivity of this na lalagay mo dito yung pera para ma-mitigate yung landslide risk, pero wala kang perang mai-invest sa pag-reduce ng landslide risk mo sa ibang lugar na mas nangangailangan. So, I think that's the big question. That's another big question here.
Space of the top. Oh, and every unit, meron na siyang malaking outdoor space. Some of the units here even have a bigger outdoor space than my own house.
Ayan, kita mo. Yung outdoor space niya, meron kang mga vegetation. And hopefully, this vegetation ay, kung susundan natin yung principle to work with nature, hopefully this vegetation, these plants would be from the mountains itself. So, kasi pag naglagay ka ng mga plants dyan na hindi ayon sa mountain or na, hindi bagay dun sa environment ng mountain, it will become invasive species and makaka-apekto yun dun sa ecosystem, dun sa ecology ng ng mountain na ito. So, it's really a big project. It's an ambitious project, and there are many considerations for the environmental impact assessment or the issuance of an environmental compliance certificate for this project. Assessment.
That is something we were able to offer for the rice. Not only does it look good, it has all the advantages of a home with the advantages of condominium living. But there's more, Ma'am Sir. Diba, tinulak natin sa likod. Siyempre, there's hallways behind this. Those areas that are facing the mountain, hindi na natin kayang gawa ng unit, diba? So what we did in the context of making this as much of a house as possible is we gave each and every unit storage space behind them. Lahat ng mga Christmas trees natin, yung mga party tables and chairs, meron tayong storage space, which is the typical problem of condominium living. So, best of both worlds yung ino-offer natin dito. So, let's get our bearings muna. This area is just outside Monterrazas de Cebu. We're going to completely revamp the entry towards the subdivision. So, ito yung magiging bagong guardhouse. Meron na siyang big welcome area right here. And if you follow that road all the way up, that's Monterrazas Prime, yung Skypod 2.0 na ginawa natin. Sold out na pala tayo dun, guys. So, thank you very much for all the support. So, this whole area is called Guadalupe area. That's the biggest residential barangay in Cebu City. And this one is very...
Okay. On that note, that's the biggest barangay in Cebu City. I don't know the population. I don't know the demographics. Pero, importante doon na napakalaki ng influence niya sa magiging development ng area. Because, yun nga, kung malaki man siya because of the land area, malaking part na ng municipality or city yung maapektuhan niya. And then, well, meron na Skypod 2 dati. Wala akong knowledge nun. Pero, siguro ang importanteng makita is the impact assessment of that Skypod 2. I've seen some tweets from environmental experts of the flooding, the differences in flooding with and pre the Skypod 2 and post the Skypod the construction of the Skypod 2, and hindi raw maganda yung naging effect niya sa flooding. So that's also an important step that the DENR needs to take impact assessment. Not only parang hindi lang siya hindi lang siya dapat tingnan as one project. It's a project from the same proponent. And we need to see that yung impact nung previous project from this proponent has not been detrimental para bigyan din siya ng panibagong ECC. So, well, that's I think I don't know the implications of that for due process, pero I think thinking out loud, that's one thing that we need to the DNR should consider in the issuance of environmental compliance certificate kung hindi pa nila na bibigay.
Very close to Chonghua Hospital, Cebu Doctors Hospital, close to San Carlos School, and very, very close to Ayala Center, Cebu, just about 15 minutes away. So imagine having all that convenience, pero nasa side ka na of the mountain. Lahat ng mga units here are facing one way towards the east. So it's facing IT Park, Cebu Business Park, and since we're at the side of the mountain, each and every unit, meron talagang views. And not only that, dito yung entrance natin, di ba? Pagpasok natin, because we designed it like this, hindi na siya kagaya ng old design natin na mukhang traffic and congested. We are working now with the terrain and makikita natin yung natural ebb and flow of the mountain right here. So this is...
Hindi ko ma-resist na i-post na talagang hinahanap ko na meron man lang bus service or yun nga, mass transport option para sa mga residents na ito, although that can be done in the operational phase na lang, pero yun, I think that's one thing that's missing in our design paradigm in the Philippines, that titingnan pa rin natin na status symbol yung kotse, private car, and this private establishment or private residential homes with accessibility to services na shared. I'm lost for words dahil puro sasakyan yung mga nakikita ko dito.
It's going to be a very, very premium and low density development. We only have 146 units for the rise, and then right across it, dito, itong naka-plastic na to, we're going to be building a mall here in the future. So the whole entire Monterrazas de Cebu development will kind of be like a township in the future. But guys, just look at this. If pagpasok mo dito and you're driving through, ito yung mag-greet natin dito. And ang ganda and ang organic na feeling just going through here.
Okay. So, siguro limited yung resources niya dahil yun nga, itong mga designs na ito. Pero I really hope these vegetations that will be planted here would be according to what is already in the forest. Kumbaga, i-replant lang or i-reforest lang. Kasi nga magiging invasive species yan. And yung development ng mall na yun, malapit din sa mountain na ito. It will be another environmental threat. Kasi yun nga, hindi lang naman structure, pero ano rin yung traffic impact assessment din. So, makikita natin na talagang the DNR should strengthen its regulations in Cebu dahil importante yung lugar na yan para sa mga because of proponents that who are proposing large projects like these.
And imagine you being in the mall, meron itong mga outdoor space here also. This is the view that you'll be looking at. Ito yung backdrop natin while you're enjoying your coffee, you're enjoying your meal here. And if you can see very, very closely, meron tong outline of lights that draw those flowing lines of the development. And ma-imagine ko lang at night how beautiful that would look like. Not only that, imagine it.
Ayun na naman. Place marketing na naman yung kotse na yan. Ayan kotse na yan. So, this is really not passing the social inclusiveness component of being a sustainable development. Kasi yun nga eh. Hindi ko alam. Well, for your information, meron namang developments like these are subject to socialized housing or economic housing. Ito yung talagang balanced housing provisions. So, hindi ko maalala yung tama. Kung condominium to, 5% of the project or 15 ba? A certain percentage, there's a minimum percentage of the project cost and project area that needs to be compensated or sa LGU dun sa kanilang socialized housing. So the development should contribute a certain percentage. I don't want to put the numbers, but basta search nyo na lang yung balanced housing development provisions na bago. Meron ganun. So hopefully that development provision would at least compensate yung social exclusivity nitong development na ito.
Dito ka nakatayo. You're also looking towards the backdrop of the entire development na very green, very lush. It feels as if you're wrapped in nature. So, may konting akong detail na papakita sa inyo. And this just goes to show how much thought was put into this development. So, for example, kanina explanation ko, andito kami, di ba? How do we protect our privacy right here? Siyempre, it's easy for someone to go towards the balcony and look down towards you, di ba? And this is why itong strip na to, itong green strip right outside was placed. It's not only just to be as green as possible, but it's also a conscious design effort to protect the privacy of the residents. There's a good distance from the railing to the edge. Parang may setback siya para hindi makikita agad kung sino yung nasa baba. So that's the entire design of that space. By doing this strip also of greenery, we are able to give back towards the mountain 1 hectare of greenery. So just to give that context.
Okay. Give back to the mountain. So, pag i-reconcile lang natin yung paradigm na yun, yung perspective na yun. Kanina ang sabi niya, they are working with nature dito sa project na ito. And now the term that is being used is to give back to the mountain. So, nature is kita na natin ang power ng nature kapag meron tayong mga ginagawa against the environmental or the ecological parang ipagkakagawa talaga ng Diyos sa ating environment. The natural flows, the cycles are being influenced, and that's precisely the problem of climate change and also disaster risk, environmental mismanagement. And I think the perspective of giving back to nature is something that is ironic for someone who wants to promote sustainability. Kasi ibig sabihin ng give back is kinuha mo na. Meron kang kinuha na. Meron kang in-own mo na. And it's not working with nature if you contextualize or use that term there na parang we are stewards of nature, and parang to give back to nature is not really working with nature. It's what's the term I'm looking for? Parang hindi ko ma-reconcile yung prinsipyo that you are giving back to nature something that is theirs. Something that is nature's, na kanya yun eh. Tapos, gumawa ka ng something and you're giving back this measly piece. So, sabihin mo, it's better than nothing. Pero, yun nga eh, if your sustainable development is using resources so that our future generations have something that we are also experiencing, and sana maisip na natin as developers, as planners, as people who are influential in this line of work, na yung mga terms na ginagamit natin are very important, and nature is not, parang hindi tayo mag-give back sa nature. We are just trying to use some nature, some part of nature. Dapat ganun yung perspective natin, that we are just using some parts of nature to live, to consume, to have a better life. Pero huwag natin i-own yung nature that meron tayong ipabalik na kokote. Yun yung hindi ko makita dito.
300 square meters, 400 square meters. So that's like 20 to 30 skypods just on greenery alone. Speaking of greenery and sustainability, this was something that's very smart that was done by one of our consultants. So this would be very, very expensive to maintain, to water. So we actually designed the rice to have an irrigation system similar to those in mga farms. So this entire building will be collecting all the rainwater to a tank down below, and then meron tayong irrigation system. It's a drip irrigation system that makes the entire strip of garden in front of you virtually maintenance free. So that is one of the sustainable solutions na ginawa namin dito. Anyway,
okay. So I'll give the benefit of doubt na their consultant is good hydrologist, and their consultant also is environmentally, yung perspective niya is environment, for the environment, kasi yun nga, gagamitin daw yung rainwater para i-harvest yung rainwater to make it simple, para magamit yon dun sa operations ng kanilang residential development. So yun lang ang isang word ko doon, or isang concern, that hopefully the DNR and particularly the Forest Management Bureau and the Environmental Management Bureau would really take a look at is yung magiging impact niya doon sa flow ng water on adjacent areas, at yung flow ng water towards the ground, yung pagre-restore ng groundwater of the other parts of the city or the area. Maalala kung saan to. Pero yun, it's important na makonsider yun, yung systems thinking, that this project does not exist by itself, and this project should be evaluated as that it does not exist by itself. So yun. So I think that's a good time to pause for part 1 of this reaction. Medyo madami kong nasabi, and I think from a first impression point of view, talagang malaki ang this project is a big endeavor for the DENR. Approving the environmental compliance certificate of this project is a big endeavor, hopefully, for the DENR. And if they will issue something, a permit for this, working with the local government, working with sino pa ba? The Department of Transport, kasi meron ng traffic impact assessment, traffic impact implications ito. And of course, working with the Climate Change Commission, kasi the Climate Change Commission should be at the forefront of protecting our really evaluating and keeping an eye on these projects that may affect the natural, the ecological balance, and also yung maka-reduce ng ating forest sinks. So, if you are interested in climate change, the forest is one of the important sectors kasi yan yung mag-offset ng ating carbon emissions. So, the Climate Change Commission, the DNR, the Climate Change Commission right now is chaired by the DNR. So, importante na itong project na ito ay mabigyan ng tamang evaluation, tamang monitoring bago ma-issuehan. Pag-issue, tamang assessment bago ma-issuehan ng environmental compliance certificate, and then while operating yung tinatawag na monitoring ng DNR kung nako-comply ba niya nitong project na ito yung kanyang environmental safeguards na binigay ay importante rin. Kasi nga, evaluation or assessment of a project does not end kapag naitayo yung building. Kailangan meron tayong monitoring, and not just monitoring, evaluation and learning na kailangan ma-apply natin or ma-safeguard natin yung makita natin na ina-apply ng proponents yung safeguards and binibigyan ng importansya not only what we have now but also what we want to have in the near future, considering climate changes, considering resource consumption, considering the different perspectives na pumapasok. So, lang muna siguro. Again, this is EnPTinio, blindly reacting to this Skypod 3. Hopefully, you learned some lessons, some concepts, and I hope I can continue this in another video. Thank you.